All right. Hi guys. You're getting a late night Michi audio for this con review. Not really a con, more of a show. In fact, it's my first ever night market. And so, if you guys didn't know, I did the Witch's Brew night market. I will have a little promo up on the screen that the hosts were very amazing and emailed all of us. Now, people who are new here who don't know, hi, my name is Michi, or Twist Disaster. I'm a full-time freelance artist, like many people out there nowadays, and I'm just doing my best to get by. I like to try my best to do my show and con reviews, our seller reviews, things like that. My own opinion, my own experiences. So if you guys don't like that, then by all means, you can go find somewhere else. But yeah, so I've got a few things to say about this night market. Also, hi, been a long time since I've been able just to do artist alley reviews and do these again, and I'm very excited to get back to that. Now, however, before I go too in depth with this, I feel like I do need to say something. I will be at Sakura at the end of this month. I know it's a little short notice, but if you see my last video, I've had a very hectic start to 2024. So I'm planning on getting my backlogged con videos done, my reviews, so you guys can have some nice, juicy, yummy content. Because people apparently like my videos, and I actually miss making videos. So be prepared for that. But yeah, if you live in the Washington State area and you would like to meet me, this is like one of the only chances. I've never done an out. Well, no, not true. I have not done an out of state con since 2019, so it's been a hot, juicy second. This is also the first time for Sakura Con that it is a convention that I got into all on my own. I passed the jury. I was very happy about that. But I'll talk about that when I do my Sakura Con review. Just want to do a little promo there if you want to, support me and some of the other artists out there that are going to be at the event. Yeah. Oh, also, and I will be doing my IDV Cup Sleeve again. So if you are a fan of I-1085, I will be there as well. I'll have more info about that at the end of the video and in the description down below. So now let's get into the night market. Okay, we're done with the promos. We're done with the nitty gritty. Let's get into the night market. So what is a night market? A night market is a lot like a craft fair or a craft show, but at night. Yes, yes, yes. That's like it says. Now, I will be honest here. I do personally feel like I was a little misled on the type of event this was going to be. Now, I did a event back in 2022. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was in 2022. It was when I did my video of like an artist alley at a mall at Anime Guild Torrents, and that was sort of what I was expecting. Now, I have in fact been to one of these events, but not at this specific place, not at the downtown Santa Ana area. I went to another one hosted by the same people in another area, and that's kind of what I was expecting. So I was expecting, like, we were all kind of stacked up together. We were set up with tables. They were very clear in the email that we only have a small limited amount of time to be there. They did say that we kind of had to find our own parking, which I was like, oh, okay, but put a pin in that for later. That's kind of an important little context there, And they did say like there is metered parking, but it only runs for every couple hours, and this is a 5-hour event, so would be a pain to have to run back to a meter to, put stuff back in, or however meters get done. I have not used a meter in years. Do meters even still take quarters? Or is it like all online? Because I know that like I've been to places where you just kind of like scan a QR code and put in your license plate. But needless to say, my partner and I did not do that for this. So there's another little spoiler for you there. So they offered a 10-foot space and a 6-foot space. I felt I should get the 6-foot space because I had a 4-foot table. Now, this is also very important for the context here for the 6-foot space, right? And they were like, everything needs to fit within your 6-foot space, yada, yada, yada. Again, I've done this before. I've done this many times. And I was like, okay, not that bad. And it was also an event where it's bring your own table and chairs. That's kind of, again, just a given for these. The event itself was not that expensive. I do not really feel comfortable sharing how much this event was, only because it wasn't the cheaper side, it was bring all your own stuff. And the reason for that is I have now learned that there are some people that think that some things are just astronomically overpriced when it comes to events like this. And then there's ones like this where it really wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad for Southern California standards for what I'm used to. So, because of that, and I don't want to send any hate to the people at the night market, I'm just gonna not say how much the thing was. If you want to apply and you want to do all of the nitty gritty, by all means, Google is free, so go right ahead. I will say it was not that expensive. It was definitely enough that I was like, okay, if I don't make money or break even, it's not going to destroy me, especially because I do have my other two events coming this month. So most of my stuff was going to be prepped for my IDV event and Sakura Con. This event was all just kind of leftovers that I had from ALA, which that review will also be going up later on. Maybe not this month. I've already got a lot planned this month, but then again, who knows? And then maybe Sakura Con will be next month, so you'll see. I mean, the review. But anyway, ramble, tangent. I got the 6-foot space just to test it out, see how it is. It also isn't that far from my house. It was only like a 15-20 minute drive. So, and it was on a Saturday. So I got all my stuff situated. I got everything ready. I was in the car, and then my partner wanted to come along with me. He doesn't usually go to a lot of events, so I was very excited to have my little table buddy with me. I usually try to have a table buddy of some kind with me, just because I have a myriad of health issues and a tiny bladder. So, needless to say, I didn't have any kind of issues like that at this event, which was good. So we get shown up, and when I first was there, they told us in the email that they're like, all right, everyone needs to go to a check-in tent first, and then your table number, you can set up within your little square of where your number is, right? So I look at the map, and I look at my number, and I am, for some reason, in the middle of like a hallway kind of situation. It was an outdoor event. Myself and my one table neighbor were so sandwiched together, and it was very, very awkward, at least with the placement of where mine was. I saw some other people more towards the starting of the event and the very end of the event that had it set up in different ways, so I don't know why my little nugget was so weird. So that didn't help. Also, I felt extremely unprepared. Again, I was under the impression that for the 6-foot space, it was going to be a lot like the other events that I've done, little mall events, things like that, where, you know, we're kind of just table to table, chair to chair. We got our little stuff, we got our things set up, and it is, in fact, like a mini artist alley. But I'm looking around, and I'm seeing people in front of me and behind me. They're all setting up these giant canopies. They're setting up. Most people had a minimum of like 2 to 3 tables, bunches of risers, things like that. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, oh, did I mess up? And then I tried like looking online, and something else that I have now learned from the mall event, that they did not mention anywhere, the Wi-Fi was awful. I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, some events and some shows Wi-Fi is horrible. It was getting worse as the night went on. I don't know why. Like I said, I've never vended at this event or in this area before. But like literally by the end of the night, I had to start giving people my Venmo, which was not fun, but my reader did not want to connect anymore. It did not want to take card. It just wanted to be done. And then I went home and tested it with my Wi-Fi, and it was just fine. So I'm like, oh, titties, great. So it was just the Wi-Fi of that area. Yeah, so seeing all of that, I was like, oh, I messed up. Because my table neighbor that showed up, the one that was supposed to be next to me, also in the 6-foot space, same thing, had 2 tables, had like a whole little like setup. They did tell us to bring our own lights and things like that, and I did, thinking, again, mine was going to be enough. It was not. Again, I'm seeing people with these canopies and these extra lights and these backup power packs and everything, and I'm not gonna lie, getting a little personal here, I was a little embarrassed. I felt very underprepared. I, as someone who's done many, many, many shows, I, as someone who has traveled for cons, I, as someone who have done this before, I felt very amateurish. Amateur. I felt like an amateur. I got a very big wave of imposter syndrome. That being said, though, I did technically make profit. I say that because I barely made profit, because at the end of the day, when my partner and I tried finding parking for the event, it was a minimum of $20 parking. $20 for this 5-hour event. And again, for some people, they might be like, oh, that's awful. But I'm telling you right now, when I've done events in other cities in SoCal, parking was like $10, $15, $30 and $20 parking. That is like LA prices. And this was in downtown Santa Ana, which, granted, I don't go to a lot, but I have been able to find street parking in downtown Santa Ana before. But for ones that were decent near this event, that was within walking distance when you're setting up and tearing down the same day, literally our only options were meter parking or the $20 parking. So that was an extra $20 tacked on top of everything else I wasn't prepared to pay for. So with that also being said, with my little 4-foot table, my little island there, I couldn't have the full setup that I originally wanted. I wanted to have a much bigger setup, but in the long run, it ended up working out in my favor because my poor little camping lantern was not enough. So if I had a bigger setup, people would not have been able to see my stuff. And I was able to make a new friend out of this, which is funny because he ends up actually being the brother of a person that I've loved on Instagram and TikTok for years. So the fact that I was somehow across from this artist that I really admire meant a lot to me, and I was able to talk to her and her brother and stuff like that. And I said, and now we exchange DMs and things. So that's also a good silver lining to this. And so eventually, though, I will say, once I broke even at about the halfway mark, I felt a lot better. I felt a lot more in my shoes. I was already planning about what I want to do next time. And I was able to talk to a couple of other people in the 6-foot section in the front and in the back where they had different setups than how my little island was. A bunch of them were saying oh yeah, it varies. Sometimes do really great, sometimes don't as well. And it's also funny, I was able to clock a couple of other people that very clearly are like me, where we mostly do conventions compared to art markets and things like that. So I'll show a video here of my setup so you can see kind of what I'm talking about. I didn't have the space to put my stickers up. I didn't have a place for my mini prints. I didn't even bring my button machine to this because I didn't think I would need to. Granted, that probably ended up working out because if I did bring it, I don't know where I could have used stuff with it. It is what it is. And so here's where I have to be would I recommend this market for beginners? No. No, 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 no. I would not. While the cost was pretty low, while the host was great, the email lied a little bit because when I showed up, the email was very strict. And so we had to go to a check-in area, check-in tent. That didn't exist. When I showed up and people were looking for it and looking for the host, they were nowhere to be found. We later got an email saying that they were out to lunch or something, but I'm not even sure I met the host of the event. I think I did, but it wasn't like previous events I've done. So again, this wasn't a bad thing because people were able to figure out their stuff. My original table neighbor moved to a bigger spot. She got a bigger spot because, like I said, had the multiple tables, had the canopy, had everything all set up here. And so now knowing that, I want to come back, but most likely next year. I want to come back. I want to see if the 10-foot space is worth it, because from what I talked to, for the couple people I was able to talk to during this time, the 10-foot spaces are just much more worth it. With the 10-foot spaces, you can have a canopy, you can have the lights inside the canopy, which is what I had a lot of people do. Because at first I was very confused. I'm like, it's a night market. Why are people bringing these easy ups? Why are people bringing these canopies? And then I'm like, oh, it's for the lights, so you can have light for your thing. Also, while it was a craft market, kind of self-explanatory, I was able to look at so many other people's setups and stuff like that and see what was different, what wasn't, what was selling, what wasn't. And also a big rule of thumb with most people, because I forgot who it was that said it. Someone who was doing the event came to my table and eventually said something along those lines of like, oh yeah, it's really nice that you have such more affordable things because most people here have like pretty expensive stuff. Like I think one person I was talking to, literally their cheapest item was $15. So when your cheapest item is $15, you have a lot of stuff. There were a lot of people there. Yeah, that you're pretty much gonna probably make your whole table back in an hour. While me, I only made it back about half of the time in the event. I also think because of just where I was stationed, how my setup was, it wasn't very eye-catching enough, which is why I would want to invest in next year getting a table because I'm making more merch. I got the bug, I got the inspiration, I'm ready to do stuff, and I want to do more. I want to do more than just stickers and charms and prints, which, again, there's nothing wrong with that. If you are in Artist Alley and those are your bread and butter, that is great. But if you're doing events like this or you're trying to branch out to other things, you need more variety in your stuff. And that's something that I've known for a while, but I didn't really feel like I had the design eye for it. Now I do. I ended up making my first lanyard. I want to make more lanyards. I've already got another design actually coming on the way. I got the tracking. Hopefully it'll be here for Sakura Con, but you never know. You never know with these kind of things. So fingers crossed I'll have my other lanyard design for that. I wanted to try my hand at making sketchbooks. That's also in transit. So again, fingers crossed. Hopefully those make it in time. But there's I wanted to do sketchbooks. I want to do more lanyards. I want to make a decent number of enamel pins. Around Pride Month, I want to make my pre-orders up again for my Pride potions to be made into charms and or pins, and that will be for people who do want their flag, because I have 99% of the flags, because I feel like, visibility is important. I'll have those up for pre-order in June, so if people have a specialty flag, you can get it through my shop and things like that, because that's something I like. One of my big things that sold at this event were my Pride potions, which have been something that it's really funny. I ended up wanting to kind of redo those, and I'm kind of going on a tangent from the market, but it's kind of what we're here for, right? I remember getting a comment once of someone saying that my videos are like having a conversation with a friend, and so this is just kind of how I talk, and that's kind of how I go. And even though I got my paper ASMR, yeah, and I swear I would wrap it up after this, And so I was gonna redraw my Pride potions and redo them, and I did it. And I didn't like them. I didn't like them compared to how they are now. I just felt like I was redrawing them to redraw them and not because I felt like it needed to be done. And as many people have said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, yeah, there's that tangent. So, yes. Everyone was very great. Like I said, a little disorganized, but that's kind of normal for a lot of these things. I do wish I got the promo info before the night before. I literally got, the promo graphic that I put on screen in my email yesterday. I got it Friday night, and I was like, how am I supposed to promo this when you're giving me one day at 8 o'clock at night to do it when the event is the next night within 24 hours, But anyway, I do think it was worth it. I got a new friend out of it. I got to meet an artist that I genuinely never thought I'd get to meet in person because we don't really flow in the same circles. I learned a lot. I got myself a little treat. I wasn't in the red, which is already a great leg up than experience I've had in the past. And it makes me want to push myself more. It makes me want to push myself with my branding. It makes me want to push myself more. I've also gotten some really fun ideas for my future displays that I saw from people at this event. Because there were other people, like I said, there were the Artist Alley people where I was able to clock them. I was able to be like, oh, my people. We do exist outside of anime and Comic-Cons, but also, a lot of people that I could tell were variety artists. The person actually next to me, very, very sweet, they were telling me how, they do many things. They're a person of many hats. They had, jewelry they made, they had cross-stitch, they had paintings, they had a big wide variety of stuff. And I remember being like, oh, I kind of wanted that to be me for a bit. Like, there have been times I wanted to dip my toe into jewelry making. Definitely not like a full-time thing. I wouldn't want to give up my like actual drawing stuff. But jewelry making is an artisan craft. It is an artistic skill to have. But I've always wanted to kind of dip my toes into that, you know? I've had a couple of friends suggest to me to do like wood burning, that people might like wood burning stuff. You know, that could be really interesting in the future. And again, that would be stuff where I'd be like, yeah, I don't really know if I could sell that at a con or at an artist alley, but these kind of markets, buddy, they would eat that up like butter. Butter. But yeah, I had an overall great time. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, I would not recommend this if you're starting out. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and I felt very amateur compared to all these people with all these setups and these special lights and special power banks and external lighting. And one lady even had a whole little like section for her little dogs. Like they had a whole little pop-up setup behind her table in her 10-foot square, so her dogs could be there and like not be a nuisance and like be well taken care of while she was working and selling her potions and stuff. But yeah, so see what I mean? Like, it's one of those, like, this is something I love about being an artist, is getting to have these experiences and then passing on that knowledge to you guys, so you don't make the same mistakes I did, so you can learn from them. You know, so, yeah. I thought it was very fairly priced, even though I didn't make a lot of profit like I wanted to. This was an event where I was like, okay, I'm kind of okay losing money, because I'm not really putting, too much into it. But yeah, would I do it again? I would do it next year. I would do it next year. I would do it for the 10-foot spot. Again, it could also be just where you're at. They do say they move people every time they do this show. They just move people around. All right, I think I rambled on enough. I hope that was insightful. Okay, hi, Editing Michi here. I'm just cutting it here because I didn't realize when I made this audio super late last night that I just kind of went on a tangent when I already at the beginning of the video, I talked about the IDV event and Sakura Con, and I didn't really have much more to say besides just rambling on. And so I didn't think much of a point to put it out here. You saw it at the beginning of the video, you saw it at the beginning of the video. So anyway, with that, this is me editing. Hi. It's now March 11th at the time I'm recording this. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe because the YouTube bot is dumb. And I'm very active in all my other social media, my Linktree link down below. And yeah, I'm happy making videos again. I'm getting back into the swing of things. And so I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.